Everything we do. And like Caden told me last period, he goes, Mr. Lopez, we don't do hard stuff, but you gotta think. You're constantly thinking, like, what quadrant am I in and stuff like that. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna add to your brain. That's what makes pre-cal hard. It's not the math. It's like everything else and stuff. Ms. Johnson, did y'all start the season already? Have y'all had a game yet? Like, not scrimmage?
Oh no, our first one's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's like for real the first?
Yes.
What y'all play?
Lockhart. My uncle coaches for their softball team.
Any good? Lockhart typically?
Is he the one that hit my car?
A coach hit your car?
Yeah.
It was Lockhart. Yeah.
What the? Like on purpose? Okay.
Did we play Lockhart?
Last year?
Spring football, I think. Or no.
We played him this weekend, didn't we?
Ready, Isaiah? I'm ready for you. I'm teaching to Isaiah. That's it. Everybody just jump on. Okay.
Are you recording this?
Okay. I need to behave. I am recording. Have I said anything bad? Okay.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Let's start.
Wait.
Guys, I have to start because it's recording. Like, can you imagine people putting on this video? Like, what is going on?
I know, like, you guys are talking.
Okay. So, if I go around, how many degrees is that?
360.
360. Now, follow me again. I go around again. How much is that? 720.
Oh, 20.
Everybody see what I did? I just went an extra time around. So those two angles, if I don't draw the loops, they look the same. They both started and stopped at the same place. So right here, there was an angle that was 360, but it's also 720. These are called co-terminal angles. They share the same stopping point. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So follow me again. Here we go. What if I go here? I stop at 30, but what other angle also shares that spot? So I'm going to go clockwise. So if you visualize, I kept going one more time around, and I stopped here.
390.
390. What did you do?
Just added 30 to 360.
360. So this angle can also be 390 because it's just 30 degrees plus 360. Did you guys follow that? Okay. So if I wanted to find an angle that was, if I put CCW today, that's going to stand for counterclockwise. That means that both the 30 and the 390 are called co-terminal angles. They both share the same stopping point. Does everybody understand that? Okay. We get a lot of yawns today, a lot of yawns. Okay. Now follow me the other way. What if I went the other way and I stopped here? What would be the measure of that angle?
330.
Negative
Negative
330. Did y'all see that? So how would you get that number? How do you get negative 330 from 30? Subtract. So if I go clockwise, I'm going to subtract 360. So I do 30 minus 360. That gives you. So these are two angles that share the same ending point. One is counterclockwise, one is counter, one is clock. Does that make sense? All right, so here's the rule. If you're going counterclockwise, you're going to add 360 to give me another angle that's co-terminal with it. And then I would subtract 360. This would be clockwise, going the other way. So let's do an example. So if I do this one here, and if I wanted to find the counter clockwise, what would I do to get the answer? You add 360. That would be 860 degrees. Now I'm going to get the clockwise. You're going down. So it'd be 500 minus 360. We're feeling good about this so far? This would just be
140.
So what this means is that two other angles that shared the same ending point as 500 would be 860 and 140. One is counter, one is clock. Cool beans? You guys do number 2. Knock it out. check your answers if you'd like. I always like when y'all do that. But you don't have to. I mean, I'm like 3 people in this class. Isaiah, you want to give me one of the answers?
Yeah, 420.
420?
Is it right?
Positive or negative?
Counterclockwise? Positive. Negative. Wait, positive.
Wait, which is, okay, let's do this. What is the counterclockwise angle?
Negative 60 plus 360.
It's 300.
Oh, wait. That's why, because we added it.
So it should be negative 60 plus 360.
Yeah.
Trust the math, so it's going to be 300, right? I think you were giving me the
Next one's negative 420.
the neg,
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
fine.
I heard you. Yeah. The next one would be negative 60 minus 360, which gives you negative 420. Is everybody cool so far?
Yeah.
Before I continue, I want you guys to answer one question. In degrees, what does that equal to?
Which one?
180. The most basic conversion in pre-cal that you need to know. Right? Everybody agree?
Oh, pi.
Right. So, this one, when we did this, you added 360 or you subtracted 360. But if it's in radians, I'm not going to add 360 or subtract 360. What are we going to add or subtract this time?
Pi?
Not 2 pi. Right? Y'all see why 2 pi? Because you add 360. 2
Oh,
pi
yeah,
is the
2
same
pi
as
is-
360.
oh.
Everybody cool?
Yeah.
So, guys, we're going to have to deal with a little bit of fractions. Okay? But it's easy. You got this. So, here we go. Ready? Let's do counterclockwise. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do pi over 4 plus what?
2 pi.
2 pi. Put it over 1. When you add fractions, what has to be the same?
Numerator?
Not the numerator,
Denominator.
the bottom. So, this has to be a 4, right? So we just have to multiply the bottom and the top by 4. Since this is always 2 pi, the rule is whatever this denominator is, just multiply both of these by 4. So off to the side, you're just going to do times 4 times 4. Guys, the room is limited. I know you have not a lot of room, so do the best you can. So really this becomes pi over 4 plus 8 pi over 4. I'm going to stop right here. Is everybody cool with what just happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're ready to add fractions. So this is going to be, you just add the top. 1 pi plus 8 pi is 9 pi. And the bottom is
4.
just 4. Remember fractions, the denominator stays the same. That's the counterclockwise angle. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do what?
Subtract.
Subtract. We already calculated it, so I can just take that number. So I'm just going to do 8 pi over 4 this time. So it's going to be 1 pi
Minus negative
minus 8 pi, which is going to give you?
negative 7 over 4. Negative 7 pi over 4.
Very good. This is your clockwise. These are the two angles that are coterminal with pi over 4. Very good. So I want you guys to try one because this is probably the hardest one. I want you to take the 4, number 4, do that one. I want you to give me the two other coterminal angles. You have an answer though? When there's a negative, I put it on the top, like that. Then you do 2 pi. And then you multiply that fraction. What did y'all multiply this fraction by, top and bottom? 3. So it became 6.
Yes.
We just want to make sure. So this would then be times 3 times 3. So this would be negative 2 pi over 3 plus 6 pi. And if you can do some of this in your head, you can skip some of these steps. I just want you to know where the numbers came from and stuff. One thing that I do to save space, I always, last year, I don't know if you want to do this or not, you could just put plus or minus and do both at the same time, right? So if I did negative 2 pi plus 6 pi, what is that? 4 pi over 3. So one of the answers would be 4 pi over 3, comma, and then I'll do the negative, and I'll do negative. So it'll be, so you just gotta be careful, right? So it's negative, yeah, so negative 2 minus 6 pi would be negative 8. So this would be negative 8 pi over 3. Or you can separate them, whatever. And if you know how to, remember, just multiply the bottom by that number to get you that. Cool beans? Everybody cool? All right, so not too bad. You'll practice it. No, you'll practice today. You're gonna be on it today. Kill it. All right, turn the page. What I do now, this is gonna be the last part of the lesson today. What I do now, this is gonna be the foundation to a lot of what we do in the future. Everything we do, there's a reason for it. It all builds on itself. So even though this is gonna be easy, it's still like you're constantly thinking like little stuff. It's just little math, but we're doing that. We're gonna talk about reference angles. So we've been using this symbol right here for angles. We've been using theta. This is a symbol that we use for just a regular angle. So what I want you to do, we did this just on our quiz. Can I have everybody sketch this angle just like you did on the quiz? I want you to put it where it belongs. Hopefully you remember. What quadrant does it end in? 2, right? All right. So, this is what a reference angle is. You guys ready? A reference angle is an angle that is always positive. It's always going to be less than 90. It is the angle that it makes with the x-axis. So, if I look at this picture, I want the angle that it makes with the x-axis, the closest to, it's always less than 90. I want this part right there. So, how much is it from here to here? 30. So the reference angle, the symbol is going to be from now to the end of forever. It's going to be alpha. I cannot do an alpha to save my life. It always looks like a fish. So the angle is going to be 30 degrees. This angle right here is called the reference angle. It's always less than 90. I don't ever care about the y-axis. I will never ask you, what is this angle right here? I don't care. Okay? No one cares, so don't do it. How did y'all get that number?
I subtracted 150 from 180.
So you just did, so to get that answer, you did 180 minus, I know this looks tedious, but there's a reason for that. So the answer was 30 degrees. We're gonna talk about that later. All right, I want everybody to do number 6. I want you, it's easy, but it's weird. Try it. I want you to find the reference angle for number 6. Share your answer with somebody, or yourself, or your invisible friend. Do you guys just want to share out? What did you get for your reference angle?
45.
45.
45. It's 45. What quadrant was this in? It was in quadrant 4. So it goes here, goes all the way around, stops here somewhere. And then the part that I want is this. I want that part. How did you get the answer for this one? So notice it's a little bit different. In your brain, you just kind of know what's happening. You're just subtracting. This is going to be, the reference angle is that angle right here. I should have put it there. That's 45. Very nice. Okay. Let's look at number 7. The good news about this is that even though it's in radians, you don't have to give me the reference angle in radians. You can give it to me in degrees. I don't care. Give it to me in degrees. So we can convert this into degrees because I think a lot of you prefer degrees, even though I kind of know what this. What is it?
240?
It's 240. How'd you get that?
I like the deal.
Oh, he saw the answer key from this thing. He just looked it up. It's 240, right? But you can convert that like you did on your quiz. This is the same thing as 240. So just visualize that. What quadrant is that in?
2, 3.
3. Because I know it's a little bit more than pi. That's how I see it. So this just goes a little bit over here. So
He's 30.
it is not 30.
He's not.
Mm-mm. That was the first answer they said in 3rd period as well. I know why you said 30.
Oh, wait.
I wanted to the x-axis, not the y. Nope. 120 was the second answer they said. Anybody want to throw their answer in the books? Or not? It's this angle right here.
Okay.
60.
180, like minus 180.
You minus 180 from it. I want it, remember, it's always closest to the x-axis. Not this x-axis, this x-axis. And it's always less than 90. So if you get a number bigger than 90, you did it wrong. So your alpha is going to be 60. And then he just said how we got it. For this one was different. You did 240 minus 180. Okay? It takes some getting used to. They're not hard. It just depends where you're at. I want you guys to try that one by yourself. I want you to tell me what is the reference angle for that.
Yeah. But all you gotta do is just divide it by 180.
Thumbs work. All right. What quadrant is this angle in?
1.
1. Stopped here. What is the reference angle for this one?
30?
Which is,
30?
it is 30. You don't do anything. It's just 30. You don't subtract, nothing. This is 30. So alpha is 30. Yes? So there are 4 rules. If it is in quadrant 1 and they give you theta, you don't do anything. That is the angle. That is the answer if it's in quadrant 1. What did we do when it was in quadrant 2? So if it's over here, what was the rule? What did we do on the top with the angle? Is this scenario?
Oh,
We subtracted that angle from 180. So if it's in quadrant 2, this only works if it's positive. So it would be 180 minus whatever angle they give you, that gives you the reference angle. This is if it's in quadrant 2. Does this make sense?
Yes.
What is the rule for 3?
Minus 240?
So it was 240
Or minus 182.
minus 180. So it was the angle minus 180, that gave us the reference angle. This is when it's in quadrant 3. Quadrant, what was the rule for quadrant 4? When it was, remember it was 315?
360.
So it's 360 minus the angle, that will give you the reference angle. These are the rules. Whether it's positive or negative, it should work, I think. So, that being said, I don't know if that works. That's it. I did write it like this though. Maybe this looks a little bit more neat. If it's in quadrant 1, those are the rules, so on and so on. I can leave this up. You're welcome to write that in your notes if you'd like somewhere. It's the same thing that you just copied down. If you don't need it, don't copy it down. I'll leave it on here so you do your thing. So your assignment today, because third period, I had to grade their packets. It's a big class. It's not like this one. I've already graded your 1 through 38. Your assignment is the following page. On page 9, starts on page 9. You're just doing the odd numbers. This one will be a Google form though. The Google form is very particular because it's evil. So if you don't know how to answer something, please ask. Like, Mr. Lopez, how do you put this in here? Like pi? You can't put the pi symbol. It's not really evil. It's more like, it's annoying. So anyway, please ask if you don't know how to answer something, and I will be more than happy to explain it for you. Yes, sir. This is due today at the end before flex. If you've been here, it is due by 1:50. It's due by 1:50. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording before